Dear colleagues, I'm delighted to give this talk on behalf of the Federal Ministry of Education and Research and tell you more about the progress Germany has made on gender equality in research and culture change over the 12 years between 2004 and 2016. Let me first of all pass on regards from Federal Minister Anja Karliczek, who is very much looking forward to hearing about the outcome of today's discussions. In its coalition agreement of this year, the federal government sets out to continue measures to achieve and implement real equality between women and men. The Act on the Equal Participation of Women and Men in Leadership Positions in the private and in the public sector is an important milestone that came into force during last legislative term. The federal law on gender equality has been overhauled, a law which also applies to Germany publicly funded research institutions. The new piece of legislation obliges research and science organizations to increase their share of women, particularly in leadership positions. The quota is based on the cascade model, which measures equality in research and academia on the basis of the percentage of women and men and at the various qualification levels. The target share of women at one level is based on the percentage of women at the next lower level. For example, if women account for 40% of doctoral students in a certain discipline, then this figure is also the target for the higher levels of qualification in that discipline. We see that by international comparison, Germany still has a lot to do in terms of equal opportunities in research and academia. This applies to leadership positions in particular. According to the latest SHE figures, the statistical data collection on women in research and innovation across Europe, women were still underrepresented in the EU 28 in 2011, when they accounted for just 33% of researchers, in spite of a growing gender balance at gradual level. Germany figured among the poorest performing countries, with women only accounting for 26% of researchers. But it's important to note that Germany has been making considerable progress. The annual increase in women in research in Germany is much higher than the EU average, that is 8% in Germany compared to plus 8% across the 4% across the EU. The DFG, it's our funding research organization, and Germany's 4 university research organizations are playing a key role in this development, thanks to their participation in the Pact for Research and Innovation. This pact was formed as a joint initiative between the federal government and the Germany's federal states, the Länder, against the backdrop of Germany's federal structure. It was launched in 2005 and most recently renewed to run from 2016 to 2020. Regular increases in the provision of basic funding under the Pact of Research and Innovation give the non-university research institutions financial planning security. The research institutions, in turn, commit themselves to unlocking and making good use of women's potential in science and research. They are obliged to present and implement strategies for achieving these goals. The introduction and review of target quotas based on the cascade model in the annual monitoring procedure ensure that the share of women is increasing at all career levels within the research system. The research institutions have boosted their efforts to recruit excellent women researchers, provide targeted support for young women, and enhance the reconciliation of work and family life. As a result of the pact, the share of women has increased in all research institutions and at all levels of qualifications. This slide shows that the percentage of women in leadership positions in research has been rising continuously. then this graph shows that 3 of the research institutions came very close to achieving gender parity at PhD candidate level in 2016. Fraunhofer reached 33%, Helmholtz reached 39%, Leibniz Association reached 48%, and Max Planck Society reached 40%. This graph shows now, since 2004, the Pact for Research and Innovation has been helping to continuously increase the share of women among new appointed W3 professors. That's the highest paid positions in Germany's academic system. In 2016, this percentage stood at 35% for Helmholtz, 33% for Leibniz, 45% for Max Planck Society, but 0% for Fraunhofer. This poor result is due to Fraunhofer's particular focus on research in the natural sciences and engineering. Despite the poor result for Fraunhofer, we can safely say that the majority of the organizations have managed to substantially increase the number of newly appointed women professors. Their share continues to be on the rise and, what is even more important to us, there seems to be no structural discrimination against women researchers. In their annual monitoring reports, the research institutions describe how use self-imposed instruments and measures to achieve the qualitative and quantitative goals to which they have committed themselves. The most successful measures to promote equality in the appointment of leading researchers include the Leibniz Association's funding line for promoting women for academic leadership positions as a tool for establishing research groups led by women. Fraunhofer's funding and development program, which provides women researchers with the necessary resources for the next career step. The Max Planck Society career building program for outstanding female postdocs, which is aimed at ensuring equal career opportunities. The Helmholtz Association and Max Planck Society's jointly funded program for W2 and W3 positions for women professors. This aims to swiftly reach at least % share of women academic leaderships bodies in the nearer future. All research institutions also made progress with regard to creation and expansion of family-friendly structures to make it easier for employees to reconcile family life and research work. They are, for example, providing dual career opportunities to support international mobility, expanding childcare services, something that is particularly important in Germany, and introducing more flexible work time models. The majority of the organizations have also formulated internal standards for the reconciliation of family and work. This enhances the long-term organization and funding of the measures I just have mentioned. As you can see, the Pact for Research and Innovation is the central instrument for realizing equal opportunities for women and men in our research community. Its impact is generally positive. Also, we would wish for a more dynamic increase in the number of women right up to the top of all institutions in the future. The Federal Ministry of Education and Research will negotiate the continuation of the pact with the Länder in the course of the current legislative term. Another program, the Program for Women Professors, was jointly launched by the Federal Ministry of Education and Research in 2008, together with the Länder, in order to increase the numbers of women professors at higher education institutions. The program was renewed twice in 2012 and 2015 and will enter the third phase this year. It contains 200 million euro for the run of 5 years. The aim of the program for women professors is to support equality for women and men working in higher education, boost the representation of women at all qualification levels within the academic system in the long term, and increase the number of women in academic leadership positions. Under the program, universities of applied sciences and colleges of art and music are firmly committed to enhancing equal opportunities for women, can obtain knockout funding for new appointments of women to permanent W2 and W3 professorships. Under this program alone, a total number of 534 women have already been appointed permanent professors. About 1/3 of them are professors of natural sciences or engineering, an area in which there have been very few women professors at Germany's higher education institutions in the past. Here you can see how the total number of women professors in Germany has increased thanks to the program for women professors. And now in 2016 we have nearly reached a total number of 24. To conclude, we've observed that steps to modernize the legislative framework with the resulting new programs together with the Pact for Research and Innovation have initiated a change of culture at our higher education and research institutions. This cultural change cannot only be sensed in ideal teams, but is also evident in terms of structures. It's anchoring the promotion of equal opportunities in the equality and personal development policies of both higher education and research institutions. But we should not rest on our laurels, and the federal government will continue to promote equal opportunities in science and research. However, we can look to the future with optimism. We have initiated the necessary turnaround to increase the number of women in science and research. Now we are going ahead to get more diversity and got more gender in research. Thank you for your attention.